The program host and guest and not WSTU. WSTU does not endorse any products mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU.
The Treasure Coast longest-running local talk radio show is on the air. The Treasure Coast Forum. Get interested, get educated, get involved, and give us a call with your opinions at 220-9788. And here's your host of the Treasure Coast Forum.
Hey, happy Thursday. My name is Brianna Pierre-Lewis, and I'm your host today, but you can call me No-No. And I'm also here with...
Hi, guys. I'm John.
And...
Yeah, I'm Frank.
Yes.
So you guys missed me last week. Tell me the truth.
Oh, I missed you so much, but it was really
nice. It was nice seeing.
It was nice seeing
Mr.
Thomas again, though. He was cool, and we talked about I talked about faking mental illness and how the root of that is to seek suffering, because in suffering you can find happiness. I introduced my whole entire theory. It was a weird show, but
I gotta do a listen back.
I introduced my whole entire theory of how happiness is only like 0.01% true. I'm gonna get that peer reviewed by a whole bunch of scientists and probably make a lot of money for it. So things like that,
nice.
And then maybe write a book, just to make even some more money.
Yeah,
things like that.
Put it up on Amazon.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Maybe you can get like Audible people to like narrate it.
Sure. I'll do the narration for you.
Oh,
sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Yes, you should do it. But yeah, that was just it was I guess you could say it was a strange show.
All right, so I'll
good.
do a listen back.
Yes.
And so our listeners, we should tell them we record all the shows and put it up on YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube. If you look up
WSTU1450.com.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put in Treasure Coast Forum,
mm-hmm.
and then the date, and then the show will pop up.
Yep. And then you can hear all about my theory.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyways, we're going to talk about homecoming because that's next week. And I skipped school, guys. Just kidding.
Wow.
I skipped school. My sister went to school.
Yeah,
I know. Right.
Wow.
Shocking. It was so shocking. But no, I actually didn't have to be there. Most of the seniors didn't go because it was for the PSAT. John, I'm so sorry. I hope that went well for you.
I think I went well. I think it went well. The math was fairly easy, but
because you're a STEM
I can't
kid.
say anything.
You're a STEM kid. What can I say? You STEMmies
went pretty well.
They like their multiplication division. I don't know what else to say, but
slide rule. I went to school with kids with slide rules. This is before the pocket calculator.
Slide rule? What is that?
Yeah. Well, you'll have to. There's actually probably some artifacts in the Smithsonian. You can find them, but those are how you can do your calculations.
Oh my goodness!
When the astronauts went to the moon back in the 60s, the engineers used slide rules to do a lot of their calculations.
Wait. Okay, so do you know the movie Hidden Figures, or like the three black women who took a huge role?
Yeah.
Yes. Didn't they use the slide rulers?
Yes.
One of the girls was like really good at math, and they had like the computer
She was a black
room.
lady who was the go-to person
for math.
The other engineers would bring their math work to her.
Yeah, and she had to double check.
She would check it. Yeah, she was that good. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's a good movie.
They did all long math.
Yeah. That's a good movie though.
Of course.
We stand that movie.
Yeah. Good.
But homecoming is next week, so I spent my day off yesterday just shopping. I went to Walmart. Check this out. I'm gonna dye my hair silver because I'm gonna be twinning with my best friend. Her name is Amber. Yeah, silver. Silver. It don't worry. It's not because we have the parade on Thursday.
Right.
So like I'm not gonna go to the parade with silver hair.
Right.
It's the spray on kind where you spray it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can wash it off like the night of, so it's fine.
All right. Okay.
Stop looking at me like that.
All right. I'm just worried. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Yes, no, it's fine because I'm gonna explain it to you. But so all next week we have these themes, because it's like homecoming week and to build school spirit. So on Monday we have like Magical Monday. So I'm gonna be like one of the witches from Hocus Pocus. Never seen the movie, but I know one of the songs from it. But I'm gonna have I'm making this clay wand, and it's gonna be so cool. And I'm like gonna paint it yellow and everything like that. And we're gonna go to school. And we're gonna be like, ha ha ha,
All right.
So like that. And then Tuesday is like Twin Day, which is where I'll be like dyeing my hair and whatnot, and with her because we're gonna be these grunkles from this show called Gravity Falls.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've never heard of a grunkle before. Do you know what a grunkle is?
No.
It's a grandpa uncle.
Okay.
And it's just how does that even work?
No.
What is a
hey,
grandpa uncle?
right.
Anyways,
Yeah.
we're gonna be 2 grunkles in a pod.
All right.
And the Wednesday is college day.
Yeah.
So I got this like thing. I think I've never heard of it before, but it's called transfer paper. I learned of it literally yesterday.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make my own college shirt, and then I'm gonna take my jacket. I'm gonna have like Harvard on one of
Transfer.
them, and like
Mhm.
Princeton on the other, and NYU maybe on the
That's
front.
iron on.
Yeah, iron
Yes.
on. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and it's just like, haha, I have my own college merch because college clothes are really expensive.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, and then for Thursday, Friday are chill days. But can you believe this?
All right.
Tuesday, okay, John, I'm gonna expose you. Tuesday,
Uh-oh.
John
John is
rejected me.
exposed.
He rejected me.
Oh no.
I'm like, John, let's
I had to do
let's
nothing.
walk home to get let's walk to the front together, because you have to travel in pairs in South Fork. Okay,
You
I'm
do?
sorry.
Really?
Yes,
Like
I don't trust
nuns?
anybody.
Like nuns, they travel in pairs.
Really?
Yeah, all right.
Tisk. No. I'm the type of person where I like, it's like you always walk with someone so you have a witness. That's
Right.
why I like to
Oh,
do it.
okay.
Yeah.
that makes
So
sense.
so I'm walking with John.
Somebody say she didn't use the pepper spray.
Yeah. It was actually bear spray.
Oh yeah.
Right?
All
Okay.
Yeah.
But so I'm walking with John, and then so I'm like, John, are you going to homecoming? He's like, no. So I'm like, me being the amazing friend that I am,
Of course.
knowing that I have my whole entire like fabulous gang, and we're gonna go and we're gonna be so awesome. And I'm like, my friends are gonna bring their Polaroids so we can be like really retro and all that stuff. I'm like, oh my god, John, you should go to homecoming. Like, I'll go with you if you want to go with me. Like, do you want to go together? He goes, no.
No.
Like instant. He's like, no.
He didn't even think about it.
I'm like,
right?
oh my god.
Didn't even skip a beat.
But guess what?
What?
He's considering going, all because
Huh.
of me, all because I opened up the window, because this girl behind me heard me freaking out all over it. I was like, John, why would you not go? I literally would go with you so you're not lonely. This and that. Da, da, da. And she goes, yeah, you should listen to her. You should go to homecoming.
Nice.
So you're gonna go to homecoming, right?
See, I'm being peer pressured on a radio show.
Yes.
Yes.
I think so.
Wow.
Everybody who's listening, call in and tell John to go to homecoming.
With his homie. Yeah.
Yeah, with this. Yeah,
Okay, I have a
and
question
that's
though.
what he
What is
said.
a homecoming? Because I still don't understand. You have homecoming, then you have prom. What is a homecoming?
I think it's because homecoming is for everybody, and like South Fork is our home, like home of the
Right.
Bulldogs.
Right.
So because it's an open event that everybody can go to, it's like, oh my god, we're coming
And they have a
home.
homecoming.
Okay, because
queen.
Yeah,
that term never
The
made
royal
sense to
court,
me.
yeah, and the things
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah. Sure.
I guess I don't know if that's actually it, but that's how I perceive it because I've never actually thought of that before.
And
You should look it up though.
that follows the football game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's the parade is on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
It starts at 6, so I won't be here next week actually, which
Oh, no.
sucks. So but
Aw.
I'm gonna be in my convertible. It is what it is, and it's at Zeus Park. So if you're listening, you should come out and say hey. Be like no, because you'll definitely see me. I'm gonna be wearing a pink dress. That's your spoiler.
Oh,
A pink dress. Yeah, everybody's been asking me like, oh my god, show me what your dress looks like. I'm like, no. Like it's not gonna be as shocking if they know what I look like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that. But that's about it. I'm gonna hand things over to you, John.
Okay.
So I sent you guys some videos.
You did?
Yeah.
My email has been so funky.
That was interesting. Okay, so
Explain.
I can't. I don't fully understand the concept because I guess it goes a little bit above my head at the moment.
Okay.
So Mr. Frank kind of sent me I believe it was a link to a website, and it was basically talking about how supposedly now we have evidence that the Big Bang wasn't the beginning of the universe. It actually started before then. It's like based on like radiation or something,
Mhm.
that there was like something way before the Big Bang even happened.
Right. Yeah, because the original thought about 100 years ago was there was what referred to as a singularity. And there was a singularity event, and whoosh, there was like the atom, the universe was all like one small thing, and then it exploded and it became the right.
Yeah.
What we know is our part of the universe, right?
Mhm.
But now they're questioning that because of dark energy, and there's just so many different things now, so they're not too sure.
Oh my goodness. Wait.
And so there's other stuff that I sent you guys because I know you're deep into anthropology, right?
Yes.
So I sent you some stuff. There was, I don't know how many tens of thousands, years ago there were. But at one time in human history, there were 6 distinct humanoids
Mhm.
on Earth, right?
Mhm.
All competing for,
Mhm.
survival,
Right.
And so I had an epiphany during watching some of these videos,
Awesome.
but I don't want to share. I want you guys to see the videos, see
Okay.
if you come up with similar notions.
Okay.
And but yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't want to spoil it.
I actually ended up watching the
Mhm.
Denisovan
Yes.
video, and it talked about like the little girl and how she was like a hybrid between Neanderthal
Right.
and the Dennis clan,
Didn't
whatever.
see- yeah, right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the Dennis clan. That's what I'm
Right.
gonna call it.
Right.
And how she was like most likely starved, I think, or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
Because they found her, because they lived they said that they lived in caves.
right.
I forgot where they found her, but it was so interesting to watch, and like how they explained the ancestry. I don't know, that was so cool. It's like, and my thing is that if we actually figure out what happens, like, or how we came to be almost scientifically,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how that's gonna like. I wonder what, number one, whose toes are we gonna step on? Because one thing that I often encounter with like evolution
Mm-hmm.
is that like one of the main reasons why I wasn't accepted at all was because of religion. That of mainly being Christianity. And I know in
Mhm.
school, like my friends who went to private schools like Saint Joseph, some that private school,
Mhm.
or like some other Christian private schools from not around here but within the state, they weren't taught evolution until they came to high school, like
Right.
our school.
Right.
And so that's interesting. It's like, like whose toes are we gonna step on? Number one.
Well, and so religion, if it's clever,
Mhm.
can
Merge
say
the two.
it can, because there's no reason why you can't have one and exclude the other.
Exactly.
Right.
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 That was actually a conversation we had in class one time.
Mhm.
My friend was like, I don't understand why we can't both have science and religion.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, because people on both sides are just really narrow minded. So
some of the things that I've read and studied over the years, many scientists that had no religious affiliation, that had no belief system, they were strictly deep into science. Started as they got deeper and deeper into science, came to realize, and in fact, there were some physicists that are looking for what they refer to as the God particle. You may have heard that.
Right.
So what they're coming to realize is that the world that we live in is amazing, and it can't just be coincidental.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's people that started out with no religious bent now are thinking, you know what, this God thing probably makes some sense. Yeah.
And another question I had was like, if we figure out our beginning, would we be able to figure out how we end? Like what comes after death and things like that. So
was it you who sent me the article? Or I saw another one. It was basically, or it might have been on like CNN or something. It was like how we already know that everything's set in stone. Or was it you? Or not?
Like manifest destiny, or like
no, like
something like
everything
that?
will happen has already been, like, it's been shown. I
Oh,
forgot how that is.
that's like quantum. That's like quantum
Quantum-
physics
yep,
and things like that.
how it's
Yeah.
already
physics,
going
right.
to be, right?
Right. The present, past, and future.
Yeah, and
all-
like string theory too, a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
that
on
stuff
board.
was cool, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Easy though.
I don't know a lot about like the quantum physics and things like that, but I remember like when I was in chemistry class like 2 years ago,
Caller.
I was like crazy. We have a caller?
I think so.
Oh, we
Oh,
do.
we
have
do?
a
Oh,
caller,
good
yeah.
eye, good
All right,
eye.
All right. So maybe we have a scientist calling in.
Oh,
All right.
hopefully.
See who's on the line. Hello, you're on the air.
Yes, Palm City, Charlie.
Hey,
Hi, how's
Charlie.
it going?
It's going.
It's
So
going.
anyway, just I have to back up when you talked about the slide rule.
Yeah.
My father was a statistician.
Okay.
He was on top of being an officer under Ike and all of that business, but he was valedictorian at Brooklyn Polytech, which is a high school.
Yes.
Okay. So that's one of the reasons he's a genius. But ask a combat veteran if there is a God.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
There is.
yeah, absolutely. There are no atheists in foxholes, I think is the term, right?
I just came back from a reunion in
Mhm.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Yes, sir.
Bunch of old people sitting around talking about war stories.
Mm.
But anyway, God love you all.
Aw.
Thanks.
And I'm still looking for the brain to be donated for our POTUS.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
I don't
buddy.
want to get into politics, but
All right.
that's what I'm still looking.
Okay. All right.
Take
All right.
care.
All right, buddy.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for calling.
Bye.
All right. We had another
had another
caller,
Another one?
but they
Oh.
just hung up.
Mm.
But
Oh,
ring
well.
back, caller.
Yeah, call back.
Yeah.
Always. I guess I'm gonna take these back real quick. So there's this new show. Well, it's not new, but there's a new season coming out. It's called You.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of it?
No.
No, it's on Netflix. Okay, well, since it's spooky month and
Mhm.
Netflix released like the trailer and whatnot,
Mhm.
and so it's a show about a dangerously charming, intensely obsessive young man that goes to extreme measures to insert himself into the lives of those he is transfixed by. So guess what? I went around school and I asked all my girl and guy friends about this one scenario. So remember my little murder lead up that I was going to until the climax was van life murders?
Yes.
Well, this is
Yeah,
season
yeah.
2. So I'm gonna pose the question: how would you feel if someone was so obsessed and madly in love with you that they would murder your close friends or anyone who even dared to look at you? How would you feel?
Petrified.
Petrified? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, John.
Crazed, I guess.
Crazed?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be happy that you have someone who's
No.
like
No.
No, not at all. No.
like
No. Yeah. No. 911. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like you wouldn't be happy that like somebody
No.
thinks of you this
This is
highly
a
or
sick
honored.
person. No.
No.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Because here's the funniest part is that
Yeah.
most of the boys that I talked to, they looked at me and they were like, no.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And this is so funny. But most of the girls that I
Right.
talked to were like, yes.
Right.
Yeah, they were like,
Oh,
oh my gosh, I
God.
love this
Because
so much.
Because women are always looking for the knight in shining armor.
Oh my God.
Right?
I can't believe you just said that.
It's so true.
No, we're on the same wavelength.
Right.
Hold on to that one. Okay.
Right.
Hold on to that. And they like the idea so much. And
Oh,
it
God.
wasn't that they were accepting of the fact that that like their future partner would literally murder them, but it's more like they wouldn't be cheated on because they're this object of obsession and love and
Right.
something worth murdering over. So
They'll kill their parents.
Yes.
No
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
This is not good.
And then but
what
actually
could go wrong?
Actually,
This has been a
one
strange
girl in my
topic.
choir class, I was literally shouting this in choir, when we're supposed to
Uh-huh.
actually be singing, but
Right.
amen. Anyways, so this one girl, she was like, "No, I don't want that because what if I'm the one who's cheating? He's gonna kill me." And I was
Right.
like,
oh yeah.
"Girl." But anyways, so when it comes to this Netflix show,
Hmm.
the 3rd season comes out tomorrow. And the biggest thing about this show is that there's this attractive man who's responsible for a slew of murders because he has this deep love for you.
Mhm.
So crazy how I say you, right? But
Mhm.
that's what makes the show so scary is that we hear his narration and he always refers to the person of interest as you. That's why the show is called You. And it's almost like it's like this really weird way to break the fourth wall while also not breaking it because it forces like you're almost like in the narrative because he's like,
Right.
oh, I love you, or I'm gonna make you understand why I'm the perfect one for you.
So, no, this
It's
is
like-
like ASMR almost.
Yeah, yes, but like
You know what I mean?
the show also shows the person of interest.
right.
though. It's just his narrating is like you, and then when you're like watching the show, he's like, oh, me, yeah, because I'm you, right?
Yeah.
It gets weird. It's like a really, really weird like mind loop. But even worse is that the way the authors and the directors of the show have made this character is that he's like relatable. And you know how like in class we were talking about how like psychopaths, like it's almost like a proven statement now that everybody says like psychopaths are really attractive and they can blend in really well, or
Right.
people of that nature, like they're one of us.
Mhm.
And that's how he is. Like he goes through the same struggles. He likes books or is like your nerdy guy down like next door neighbor, whatever trope that you perceive him as. He's just a relatable person,
Could be like John.
right?
Yeah.
Could literally.
Yeah.
And then but here's the craziest part.
Poor
The
It went
show-
from me being murdered to me being the murderer.
Man,
Don't
I
you
don't
hate
know.
when that happens?
What
Yeah,
kind
you
of
know.
character development is that? But the show literally characterizes him
Yeah.
as a knight in shining armor because he's like as he stalks the girl and as he watches the girl, he jumps in at these most coincidental times to like save her.
the
so
day.
she's like, "Oh my goodness, like you're always here for me."
Right.
When really there's more going on behind the scenes, right?
Mhm.
So it brings up the question that how do we separate the line between romance and possibly even chivalry? Ooh, I can't not pronounce that.
Chivalry.
Chivalry.
Yes.
Yes, and stalking,
Mhm.
gaslighting, and emotional abuse, since that's what really occurs, and it's an intense, like premeditated, manipulation.
Yes.
In order to have you, quote
Right.
unquote,
Right.
under his control.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
To
So
get
how
the expected result? Yeah.
yeah, so how do you draw the line between romance and the stalking and the gaslighting and the emotional abuse? Like how do you know which is which, especially when it's in a show like this?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not the show's fault. It's just the thing
Right.
is that it mirrors
They're
a lot
blurring
of
the line.
Right.
Is what
Yeah.
they're trying to do. Yeah.
and there's a good reason as to why, and I'm gonna get to that later.
Okay.
But the thing is that it's
more.
John and I are
fictitious.
standing
No, I
by.
like
Yeah,
that. I love
it's fictitious, but it mirrors real life relationship dynamics. So I mean, I hope you guys haven't been
I
stalked
hope not.
and like watched and like manipulated into loving someone ?
Yeah.
Only to find out that they murdered for you ?
Right.
That's
Right.
I don't even think therapy can help with that. Oh
No.
my goodness.
No.
Anyways, I
That's-
hope that's not been, but there have been people who have fallen victim to situations like this and
Right.
whatnot. So I'm just like, man, like you have these unsuspecting people, and they let individuals like this into their lives, and then they suffer the consequences because I think personally,
Yeah.
there's no love when you're an object of obsession.
Correct.
I just I don't think so. Because I don't know. Obsession is just you obsess over things.
Right.
And you obsess over people like celebrities. Like you don't
Right.
I don't think you obsess someone you have a close relationship with.
Correct.
So I don't know. Like how do you blur the line? Like where do you draw the line? John.
Okay.
I hope not that I hope you have any like experience with that. Like I hope not.
Well, I think he can better answer that after he attends homecoming with you.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I'm actually gonna be with my gang since you like actually rejected me. I'm not even gonna say hi to you.
Aw.
No, it's okay.
I'd see, oh god, chivalry kind of stands a little different. I'd say chivalry probably is more coincidental. It's
Mhm.
like if it happens and I'm going, no, it's going to happen or whatever, the person will kind of go in and then just help out and then just book it, just
Yeah.
leave. Otherwise, like gaslighting and all that, I feel like that is almost the same thing, like kind of like what you said. It just kind of depends on the way they're manipulating the situation. Because like you can manipulate the situation with words, you can manipulate it with people, and then it would just be a different word.
And then but then how does like love get into that? Because a lot of people get that like, oh well, they just
Okay.
like maybe
If-
I'm
no,
wrong
no,
because they love me or
If we're doing love, when is it too much to manipulate them? Because in love, most people, at least from my outside kind of view, and that
Mhm.
it's like, okay, I'm going to go talk to like X person now. I'm going to say hi. It's going to go like this,
Mhm.
and then it goes like that, and then you keep doing that. Is that manipulation for you?
Ooh. Ooh. Well, I mean, I don't think so because I
It's
guess
not
I guess it
natural.
depends on your intentions, right?
Hmm.
Okay, your intentions is to make them fall in love with you.
But then at the same time, that's the same as this because like
Yeah.
you're murdering people so they can fall in love with you, right? Like you slowly isolate them, and then when they're crying, you're there for them. Like,
You know,
oh my god,
flowers, I think, would be a better choice.
flowers? Wait,
Flowers
why?
and chocolate. They'll let
Okay,
somebody know you care about them, right?
okay.
You don't have
Okay.
to kill people. It's a
No, I
better
thought
choice.
you
Oh
were
yeah,
saying flowers for the
yeah.
dead. I'm like, oh.
No, yeah. I was like, wait,
Yeah,
who is
so
this for?
This is a better choice as things to show your affection, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna wrap this up since
Yeah.
it is time for break. It
Yeah.
was kind of lost track of time there.
We did.
But yeah, we'll be back. Call in with your opinions. So, see you on the flip side.
Okay. All right.
Anyways, welcome back. And honestly, I'm just gonna say Mr. Frank's one-liner because it was too good during our break. He said, "I was the Home Depot before Home Depot even was a thing."
Right.
Bro, main character. I think you would be a perfect side character in this show. You would just be in the background, like, what is going on? What is going on? I'm still Home Depot, but what is going on? All right. Anyways,
Too funny.
yeah. Anyway, so just to wrap things up, I think the show is really interesting. When my parents saw it, because we were actually in St. Augustine when I was watching it with my older brother and his
So what
girlfriend.
were you doing in St. Augustine?
Oh, it was for Christmas, so we
Oh.
went there to see like the lights and
Okay.
whatnot,
Yeah.
and it was just like a vacation thing. I think it was like 2 years ago.
Nice.
But we were watching you. It was like 12 o'clock in the morning, and then when we came back into our hotel room, they were like, "No, it's too much." So it is really intense. It's an intense show, but I think it gives subtle commentary on our society and in life because it mirrors really toxic relationship dynamics, and it shows how easy it is to be drawn into and like pulled into that type of toxicity. So be
Right.
careful out there.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
don't get with the wrong people.
Did you think people get ideas?
Ooh, because of the show?
Right.
I think so because he plans out like all these like elaborate, like it's really elaborate. I know. I think in this is like major spoilers, but in season 2, he moves to Las Vegas, changes his name, all this type of stuff, and he steals the identity of this person who I think was like a drug addict or something. He had some type of girlfriend from the Philippines or whatever, and he's like, "Hey man, like I'm just let me go." And so the main character literally takes this guy that he stole his identity from, puts him in this glass box.
Right.
Okay, this massive black glass box. It has holes in it though. Inside of this garage, like those like storage places where you have like the pull up and down
Right.
doors
Right.
and whatnot.
Storage unit.
Yeah,
Right.
a storage unit.
Right.
And then he carries out like all of his murders there. Like the poor dude with the girlfriend ends up dying. He kills this lady who he like his neighbor. He kidnaps his neighbor's little sister,
Right.
and locks her in there, and it's like it's awful. It is so awful. And I'm looking, I'm like, this can
like a
probably
crazy
be
show.
carried out.
Yeah.
It most likely can. It's too real. I think it's way too, and that's what makes it really intense. Is because it's so close to how life is. I don't
Right.
know, but not. It's such a I don't know. It's just crazy. But yeah, just be careful. Don't be toxic people. I hope to God that your friends aren't murderers. John, I'm looking at you. Be careful.
Yeah.
I'm watching you from now on. Okay. Yeah, I'm kidding. But yeah.
It's the
all right.
quiet ones you have to watch.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. actually,
I'm on a radio show
that's-
for crying out loud.
no. Here's a funny thing about that. There was this video of this like all these kids in a classroom, right? And so this lady's like, "What comes before 47?" I'm sorry. She's like talking about numbers and counting, right?
Right.
So this tall, like quiet kid in the class stands up and he says AK. As in like an AK-47. So then you just see all these kids and they just go running out, and they literally like bust the door open, and they're like, "Oh no!" And they run out, and he's just like, "What? Like, did I say anything wrong?" And he literally brings up his backpack too, and like the teacher's like, "Oh my god!" And so it is the quiet ones you have to watch out for. John, I'm looking at you. No, it's okay, guys. John is so harmless; he ain't even hurt a fly. All right. Anyways, speaking about John, do you have anything else you'd like to share with us today?
Okay, so this is kind of a bit of news, I guess. This was one of the more major ones I could find. It was the U.S. Rejoined the UN of Human Rights Councils. We got I believe it was 160 something votes, which it means we're back on like the board of it, and we're basically now fully affiliated with everything that goes on with it. Again, it's a pretty big deal. We withdrew about 3 years ago under President Trump, I believe. I don't know. I found that to be a pretty big deal.
So why do you think we joined back with them? Because didn't Trump like leave because they were taking like a lot of money from us or something, or like we were wasting resources on them?
Right,
Mm,
right.
So-
So the UN, a big part of their budget is funded by the U.S.
True.
Mm-hmm.
and the major decision makers are all the bad actors in the world politic. And so when you look around, you go, why are we funding something that is antithetical to our very being? And that's
Mhm.
essentially that's what it was. Just a cold reality. It was kind of like it wasn't La La Land
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah. Especially when you look up to read about it, it's like,
Right.
oh, like the United Nations coming together.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right.
Well, wait. So like, why do you think we went back to them for real? Like,
okay, so I guess under this administration, it's more. How do I phrase that? More try and be more activist and more passive.
oh, okay,
I guess
okay.
if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
for example, if like something like with China happened during this administration versus other administrations, I'm just basing this off like party lines, kind of. More or less, it's kind of more simple. Democratic's more passive. It's more neutral. More or less, try to work with people.
Mm-hmm.
Republican, in my opinion, is a bit more aggressive. Kind of do this, do it now, do it right, hard.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Traditional.
If necessary, attack. Okay, so it's more like that. So under this, it's more kind of like work with what we have and not try to aggravate and step on anybody's toes to kind of
Mm-hmm.
per-
Yeah.
do it like that, if that
Which-
makes sense.
And I think that's funny because I don't know, we were talking about it in class today in anthropology, funny enough. And we were talking about these Puerto Ricans in New York. I've been talking about this ethnography for like so long now, ever since we
Oh
started.
yeah.
It's called In Search of Respect in Search of Respect, Selling Crack in El Barrio, and it's like it takes place in East Harlem, New York.
Israel personally.
And did you want to play that?
No.
Oh no, okay. So and what happens is that there's this crack house, and it was being run by this man. His name is Felix. And then so he was cheating on his wife, got shot, jumped out of a two-story building. So he got hurt. So this man named Primo stepped up in his place, became a manager, and then the crack house was then sold to this man named Ray. So, and we were asking like, what does this change in like staffing, like Primo being boosted up into manager of this suddenly really successful crack house, like what does that have to say about our society? And so something that I often see within like capitalism and our society and whatnot is that you become successful based on the backs of the poor, or there's like a saying like that.
Mm.
Basically, it's almost like humbling yourself because you're not where you are today. If it's someone really good, you're there because you most likely had to step on other people's toe. Like people had to fail in order for you to get there. And in that situation, the manager failed. They're like it's like IB. Like let's take IB for an example, or like friendly competition.
Class ranks.
Yeah, class ranks. Somebody has to do worse than you in order for you to have the higher class rank. And sometimes that's just how it is in society. Somebody has to slip up, and then you get that opportunity and you do better. Or people are just less fortunate, and you got lucky enough to surpass them. That's just how it is, and that's how you move up sometimes. So I don't know. Stepping on toes, sometimes that's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't think we like, depending on your definition, we don't
Yeah.
really usually have a mix of the both.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
both of the party lines.
yeah.
I
So
don't know.
interesting analogy as you're
Mm-hmm.
stepping on toes. I like to say a rising tide floats all boats.
Really? Can you
Hmm.
elaborate?
Well, think about what that means. So rising tide, when the water comes up,
Yeah.
Right.
all the boats get elevated. So if you collectively work hard with other people, your colleagues,
Mm-hmm.
everybody does well, right? The person that maybe
Right.
doesn't do as well, they'll still do better than if they were mired in not doing well, right?
That's fair.
So they would still, so a rising tide, especially encourage somebody who doesn't do well, give them encouragement, and then suddenly they do better,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay,
So
I have a
rising
question
tide.
then. So it's more or less like kind of what you guys are going for is a blend between the two, or
Mm.
kind of what I was alluding to. How would you make that? because at that point you would be either A, making a one-party system, which is definitely not going to work. So it would be a B, which is a no-party system, which is more or less a bunch of smaller parties, kind of like that. But from what I've seen in like elections, none of them, even a small party, hasn't even gotten government
You have to have
funding.
a coalition government.
Yeah.
And when you end up with a coalition government, then it doesn't work very well.
It's not as effective.
Like you would need enough people in 1 year to be able to at least set that bar to get one person, one group to get at least like the bare minimum for government funding, and then you would have to ride on that. But how would you get that?
I don't think you can, honestly, but I'm gonna explain why. Since how much time do you have until break?
1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute. Okay, actually, okay. I'm gonna try to speed run this then. It's just people don't like other people sometimes. They don't agree on opinions and they can't handle it like normal people, like respectful adults. So they create separation. That's why we have labels, and that's why we have all this like classism and this systemic stuff and all these protests and whatnot. It comes from a place of not being able to respect at its fundamental the essence of who people are. And at that point, it's like, what can you really do? You want to give them separation, let them have it, and then they'll face the consequences there. So yeah, well, maybe I should elaborate a little bit more when we come back. So we're going to break. Stay tuned.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
Wrong hat.
I take a 7.5.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Okay, we're on break. Stand by. We'll be live in 15 seconds.
Welcome back, and it looks like we have a caller. So, what's up, caller?
Hey, I'm gonna dye my hair silver too.
Oh my goodness, yes, and we could be twinsies for real. Yes.
Yeah, but mine will be easier. It's gray almost anyway.
Oh my god, no! I think gray hair is actually really nice. One of my teachers, she has like really long hair, and it's just all like gray/white, and I think it's beautiful. So you rock that gray hair.
There you go.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of women they don't dye it anymore. I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean my mom dyes it. I don't know why. I told her just leave it as it be, but it's okay. Everybody has their preferences.
You guys are talking about the United Nations.
Yes.
I remember years ago there was a city council in New York City, if there's one or whatever. They were saying that the pharmacies, the prices aren't high enough. They should have people that talk every language. I'm thinking, what the hell? Why don't they just put a pharmacy in the United Nations and go and they are perfect, you know? They can get it done that way. I mean, how is a pharmacy going to hire people to speak every language? I mean, some of the Asian languages have, how many, Frank?
Well, isn't there like Indonesian,
have so many different languages in part of the Asian countries. It's just unbelievable. And I've never been a fan of the UN. You know, everybody tends to follow, they bleed us dry. We put up for the whole bill in New York City. They can get arrested for murder and they can't go to jail because they have diplomatic immunity. And, you know, they just drain us dry with money. They run everything, and they don't want to be responsible for anything. They don't have to worry about parking tickets like everybody else, or even major crimes. And they just go home, and that's the end of it. But no, the United Nations, I don't think we should belong to it anymore. I think they should get the hell out of the United States. And I think we should actually adopt with other civil countries that agree with us.
Actually, yeah, I actually had Alfredo. He's been on here before, and he actually talked about his own concept of, getting like almost just countries. He was talking about, he was focused on like South America, but having like a unification where you have like this beneficial relationship where you get like good workers and they get resources and whatnot, where like if something were to ever happen, we have each other's backs, or like just like an alliance of sorts with countries that will actually benefit us and serve us and whatnot. And I was like,
there was after President Bill Clinton was out of office, there was talk about him being the head of the UN. And I'm not a huge Democrat fan, and but Democrats, yeah, it's a big shock.
Yeah.
But the Democrats seem to believe in this one world union now with open borders and everything else, and it doesn't work that way. I mean, you just can't have everybody coming here that wants to come here, like we've talked about many times.
Yeah.
And no, but I would rather, we have the European Union, but they've been bleeding us dry too, until Trump said, "Hey, you guys got to pay up." I mean, we're protecting all you people with our military. I mean, you guys got to pay your fair share, and so that's how I go with that. And there's a lot of countries that don't even worry about getting it. Even Mexico, they don't have to worry about anybody invading them because we probably protect them anyhow too. Canada doesn't have a huge military as far as I know, and they know that nobody's going to attack Canada, and the U.S. will back them up. But the European Union's been a failure. We need to start a new United Nations under our, having people that actually agree with our morals.
Yeah, I mean, you actually summed it up pretty well. That was actually really good. I kind of agree, honestly. I feel like
I get lucky now and then.
Yeah. No, I just feel like despite what people say, like America, the American flag, racism, this that, I feel like we were the ones that truly like how do I say, like we are the dream.
You know that the Statue of Liberty, France offered it to another country that turned it down before they sent it to New York.
Are you serious?
Yes.
We were the rebound?
I don't remember which country, but somebody they offered it to, and they didn't want it, so they sent it to New York City. And now it's give us your tire, give us your poor, give us your everything. Well, how are we going to protect the whole world when the European Union is not paying their half and everybody's against us? We can't protect the whole world when we're not being backed. Yeah. And it was great back then. I think a lot of the immigrants that came here, they wanted to learn a language, they worked, they did this, they did that. But now it seems like a whole different thing. It's just like dump everything into America. China and Russia love it. Yeah. They love that the Middle East hates us. And so, it's just, I don't know what's going on anymore these days. I agree with Palm City Charlie. I think we're just going crazy, and I fear for my kids, and they're all my offspring.
Hey, Bob, we got another caller calling in.
Hey, go for it, buddy. Good to talk to you guys.
Yeah,
have a good
I
time
love your opinion.
Enjoy the show.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, bye.
All right. You're on the air.
Hi there. It's Pat.
Hey, Pat.
Can
you turn down your radio, please?
Sorry, I'm calling to counterbalance.
Sure.
Sure.
A little bit of that. The UN is a problem, and it is a mess. But the mess part of it is a Security Council, which we sit on, with China, with Russia, and with all our little EU buddies, and we're the ones that make the decisions. So if we want something, China and Russia don't want it. If China and Russia want something, we don't want it. And all those other countries, their votes are ineffectual. They don't mean anything. So when you're blasting the UN, the only one that's getting blasted is the U.S., China, Russia, and a handful of European countries.
Okay.
Oh, well,
as far as the Statue of Liberty goes, melt her down, turn her into pennies, because we don't abide by any values anymore as a nation on anything. We have totally gone off the reservation and are free roaming chickens running around with our heads cut off. We have zero direction, and that isn't a Biden thing. That's a Biden, Trump, Bush, Clinton. Just keep rolling it back. I mean, we have not had solid policy on who we are as a people and what our overall objectives are. And right now, post Trump, we are completely divided as a society that got exacerbated in that. And I'm sitting here going, well, how do we reunify our country? And at any point, come up with, we are one country with one common thing. Now, when I was in the military, it was the only time I saw us function as one kind of people. They didn't care where you were from or what you were.
Right.
But, you know, that's the only time I ever saw that. I'm old enough to remember the only two times I've ever seen our country united was the bicentennial and the day after 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right. Those are the only two times in my life I've seen my country united.
Wow, that's oh my god, that's so sad.
Stuff.
Yeah. Wait, so then I have to pose the question. So how did we come to this place where we're so like, is it a problem with our foundation? You know, the morals that we're instilling within the new generation. We only 4 minutes, so
it's we had this discussion when I said several episodes ago where we vote party line, right? So Democrats vote Democrat, Republicans vote Republican, and neither of them are doing their job because they're supposed to vote for their constituents. The problem is our policy makers, our people in the House, the Senate, the executive, the judicial, none of them are setting a tone, a policy of unified country concepts, things that we can all agree on. There was bipartisan support, 100% on whatever it was. We're not doing any of that. We haven't been doing any of that. And we haven't done any of that except for those 2 days that I mentioned, ever, as far as I can see in my lifetime in this country. And we've gone the other way. We demonize the other half of whatever it is. Okay, which is insanity on every level, as far as I'm concerned, to demonize whichever party. I am a fan of multi-parties. I think it's crazy that we only have two in this country. You know, it's either white or black. It's either yes or no. It's either up or down. It's like we're incapable of thinking out of a box.
Oh my!
I'm just saying.
No. You're correct. I don't know what to say because you're actually I never. The fact that it's only I don't even know what the first event that you said, but the day after 9/11. I mean, John and I weren't even alive
in 1776. I was alive in 1976 for our bicentennial.
Okay.
And when our bicentennial hit, it was the only other time I saw our country unified. Everyone was just happy being American. Everybody was just okay. It was cool. Yeah. We're here for 200 years. Yeah. It's awesome. And that's the only other time. So I saw one happy time and one sad time. The day after 9/11 was not a pleasant day. But once again, the country was unified, where everybody was just American. Everybody just shut up for 5 minutes and stopped picking and poking at each other, and we're just Americans. If that makes sense.
No. It perfectly does. And
food for thought. Thoughts and food.
Yeah.
One day I'll be warm food.
Yeah. I hate to let you go, but we only have a minute left. So yeah. Thank you so much though. I always appreciate your opinion. Oh my goodness. Very profound. Thank you.
Take it easy.
All right, you too. And that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for everybody who called in. John, you're going to homecoming. I'm finna find you and I'm gonna embarrass you. But yeah. But you know what?
She's got spray paint with your name on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
destroying that hair. But yeah, stay safe out there. Don't run into any murderers who might pretend to be your love interest, something
Yeah.
like that.
All right.
And stay unified.
Yes,
Please?
there you go.
Let's all be friends.
Yes.
All right.
Kumbaya.
I won't be here next week. I will miss you.
Aw.
But enjoy. I know John will leave you guys in good hands. So
All right.
have a good one. See you in 2 weeks.
All right.
And that's all.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.